Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with the third video of the day. It's been a long day for me and as you saw with the last video about BLM, completely lost my cool, so I needed to take a few hours to cool down, calm down, get my wits about me, right? So I hope everyone is well. For me it's the evening, it's actually about 10:15 at night. Yes, I'm a night owl. I burn the midnight oil, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, honestly. But I hope you're all well wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So I was watching a diversity in comics video, as I have been doing a lot lately, and he's reviewing, or rather, the video was the review of the Wonder Woman issue 760, which this is the cover of. And given that we've been talking about covers recently, given the absolutely atrocious Wonder Woman 1984 cover, which I'll be getting to later in this video, I wanted to look at this cover and how absolutely blah it is. I mean, isn't it wonderful to see the strong, heroic heroine, who's fit and strong, look terribly skinny and unathletic and very, very, very far away? I mean, I could lean right into the screen, which I'm doing right now, and I still can hardly see her. I will admit, I do like the big sentinel monster things in the fog, and you have the bright red eyes and the red thing in the center. But in my opinion, it makes Wonder Woman, who again is supposed to be the pinnacle of perfection, right? A product of the gods, whichever origin story you go with her for, right? Whether the whole she was molded out of clay and brought to life, or she's the daughter of Zeus and uh, what the heck is her mother's name? Hippolyta or something to that effect. Greek is not my language. I'm sorry. I hardly speak English well, so I apologize for my uh, wretched pronunciation of Greek words. But anyway, right? Whatever origin story you go with for her, she is a product of the gods, right? She is perfection. She is above everything human and mortal, right? And yet, she looks so unimpressive here, while her opponent looks big and ominous and scary and mysterious and imposing, as an enemy should. But your hero should look visually strong enough to confront the enemy at hand. And having the, I guess you could say, camera or the, I guess, reader's view or the viewer's view so far behind her, putting her so far away instead of up close, it does not help in this instance. Plus, the pier, whatever this is supposed to be a dock, doesn't look all that well drawn. You can hardly see the water. Just got all this fog. Just not a good cover, in my opinion. You have all of this empty space, right? Especially in the front, right? In front of her, it's all this like empty space there, just shades of blue. Probably because it's meant to be fog, but still it's like just blue. And this is not a Bob Ross painting, so you should have filled that in a bit more. Now I don't know who the artist is. I really can't make out the signature. It looks like it says Cruz, Mr. Cruz or something. I don't know. Right, but the author of this is Mariko Tamaki, and on that alone, I refuse to read it. For those who don't know, Mariko Tamaki had a run on She-Hulk a few years ago, and she absolutely ruined the character. She's part of the reason why She-Hulk is now She-Bulk today. But that is a rant for another video. But given that we've been talking about covers recently, I wanted to sort of do a timeline from the covers of yesteryear that DC used to have until now for a comparison's sake, right? So we have this cover, right, a modern day cover, and we see what it is, and I've just given my opinion on it. So let's go back into the past, right? This is the complete covers cover volume for volume 2, and you see how, although it's a very simple cover, the background, simple white is just her shield and some weapons, right? There's still a powerfulness. Probably not a word, but She looks powerful. She looks strong. She looks like she's gazing into the distance, and there's a strength to her pose, even if it's not terribly um, dynamic. You would say it's a very simple cover, but in my opinion, it says a lot. Plus, look at those shoulders and look at that hair. It's amazing. So of course, this was peak '80s, right? But let's continue. Then we have this cover, which I believe is the 50th anniversary of DC Special, right? It's a Special Crisis crossover. And we see how powerful she looks here, right? Her arms in the air, right? Her mouth is open. It's like she's screaming, right? It's a very powerful, dy- uh, dynamic pose, right? It speaks of strength. Then we have this cover by John Byrne here, right? And again, while it's not the most animated cover in the world, and it's very simple, it does say a lot with her expression and the way her body's drawn, and the way she's tightly gripping the lasso of truth. Though I will say that I would have always recognized this as John Byrne's work, because even if it didn't have his name here, I swear this cover reminds me of a cover that he did for some green chick that was in Marvel's comics back in the 80s. For the life of me, I cannot remember her name. She's something. I don't know. I forget. I wonder what happened to her comic after that. But I swear, that Jennifer lady and Wonder Woman, they look terribly similar. I mean, I'm just saying. I think John might have been referencing his own work here. I'm just saying. And then, of course, we have this cover here, several covers actually, by Frank Cho. This one is by Frank Cho, or rather, I guess you could say it's a sample. It's not the cover that was released, but it's like a sample image, right? By Wonder Woman #5 variant cover by Frank Cho and Nay Rufino, right? And we see again, while it's very simple, the colors aren't all that bright or expressive, but and all we just see her here is just where, right, and this is what I wish that the first cover that I showed did, right? The camera, let's say, is right behind her, right? So we see the strength in her body. We see the muscles in her upper back and her shoulders and whatnot. And she has the spear in hand, right? Having it look like this with the behind the back perspective, this makes her look so much more powerful, so much more heroic. Just to have her closer to the viewer from a visual standpoint. And whatever misgivings I may have regarding Frank Cho, given how he can sometimes be a bit insulting online towards people or towards certain uh, gates or movements online. The fact of the matter is that the man's an amazing artist. You can't, whatever you may think of him as a person or his online behavior, you cannot take his artistic talent and the praise he's received for it away from him. So this is one of the covers he did. I believe this was around 2016 when DC was doing Rebirth. And here's another one, right? I am a real Greek American. Fight for the rights of man's world. I couldn't help myself. I'm a wrestling fan. There's the American flag flying behind her. What did you expect from me? But as an image, right, again, it's very strong, very powerful, right? You see the war horses behind her legs. She's standing on the ruins, probably of some Greek temple. Her sword and shield are drawn. She looks strong. She looks like she's able to confront whatever enemy has made the mistake of running afoul of Wonder Woman. And then we have, well, this is a drawing, I should say. This is the line art of a certain Frank Cho cover for Wonder Woman. Now, take a look at this picture. Take a look at this picture, right? Does this look untoward? Does this look profane in any way? I would say no. But there is a bit of controversy, there is a bit of tea, as the kids would say, behind this image. You see the spot where the red circle is? You see that hint, that itty bitty 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 hint of panty? Well, that itty bit of panty is why Frank Cho ended up leaving the Wonder Woman comic, doing the variant covers back in 2016. I actually looked up an old article from CBR, not exactly my favorite source, right? But it says Frank Cho leaves Wonder Woman, blames Greg Rucka's political agenda. For those who don't know, Greg Rucka was the writer for Wonder Woman at the time. He's also the writer who confirmed that she is canonically uh, bisexual. So take that as you will. So it says here, after only 6 issues, it says here that after only 6 issues, Frank Cho is walking away from Wonder Woman, attributing his departure to Greg Rucka's feedback on his covers. Right, so it says here, after contributing variant covers for the first 6 issues of the series, Frank Cho has left DC Comics' twice monthly Wonder Woman title. Cho was hired to contribute 24 variant covers for the Rebirth series, which would be released over the course of the year. And according to comments published by Bleeding Cool, Cho's departure comes as a result of his frustration over perceived censorship of his covers, which he believes stems from the demands of series writer Greg Rucka. All the problem lies with Greg Rucka, Cho told the site. Greg Rucka has been trying to alter and censor my artwork since day one. Cho added, Greg Rucka thought my Wonder Woman number 3 cover was vulgar and showed too much skin, and has been spearheading censorship, which is baffling since my Wonder Woman image is on model and shows the same amount of skin as the interior art, and it's a variant cover, and he should have no editorial control over it. The artist cites what he describes as Rucka's weird political agenda as the root of the problem. I just wanted to be left alone and do my Wonder Woman variant covers in peace. But Greg Rucka is on a hostile power trip, causing unnecessary friction over variant covers. Cho posted a black and white version of his Wonder Woman number 3 cover on his website. Notably, the final product has been cropped, right? So it continues that Cho's art has been criticized in the past for being overly sexualized, right? And so on and so on and so forth. So, as you can see here, this tiny hint of panty in a non-sexual pose here. As you can see, this image comes from Frank Cho's Apes and Babes website. So this little hint, right, in a completely non-sexual pose, triggered Greg Rucka so bad that he frustrated Frank Cho, and Frank left the project early. We could have 24 variant covers for Wonder Woman done by Frank Cho. Done by Frank Cho, yet Greg Rucka had to have so much control and be so censorious that he frustrated the man and got him to quit after cover number 3. Now, Frank Cho, being Frank Cho, responded in his own way, sort of making fun of the controversy of it all. You know, I hope Greg Rucka never saw the end of Hellsing, because I swear there's one scene in there. I mean, there's the blonde girl who's always in the really short skirt. She does this high kick. I mean, it's just so vulgar and profane. I mean, why would she wear underwear? But moving on, right? And that leads us to today, right? And this is what today passes, not just as a comic, as a cover for a DC comic, but for a variant cover. So we had Frank Cho in his beautiful art, and we had John Byrne and many, many, many others. And we've gone from that to this. This unappealing, unattractive bleh. Interestingly enough, the artist of this image, Robin Eisenberg, has responded. She's put out a Twitter statement. So this tweet reads, TLDR, strength and beauty can come in lots of awesome forms. I don't think one form negates the others. Here's my thing. She's right and she's wrong. The meaning of the tweet itself is correct. Yes, beauty and strength come in lots of different forms. And one form does not negate the other. However, there is nothing strong or beautiful, at least in my opinion, and my opinion seems to be one that is commonly shared among people who have seen this and have voiced their opinions about it. But there is nothing strong or beautiful, in my personal opinion, about this image. I don't see a strong woman. You can do a strong but hefty type of woman, right? The for example, the thick girl, right? The Rubenesque girl, uber curvy, or you could do the Brunhilde type of person, right? Stocky, strong, thick, right? Doesn't have the uh, traditional curves in the right places, right? But still comes across as this powerful figure. I am sorry, and I mean no disrespect to Miss Eisenberg, but this is not her best work. I've seen her Twitter, and I'll get to that. But she can do better. She knows, in my opinion, she can do better. And yeah, there is nothing powerful or inspirational about this cover. If you look at every other cover that I went through, each one of them looked powerful in some way. Whether it's the expression on Wonder Woman's face, whether it's the muscles, whether it's the pose she is in, all of them speak to strength. This, like I said it in my original video, speaks to when is that bus coming? I do not want or need a normal looking Wonder Woman. So anyway, here we go. Here is the response, right? Here's the response from Miss Eisenberg. So she writes, so, due to the subject matter of my art, for those who don't know, the subject matter of her art, right, that she posts on Twitter, is best described as softcore lesbian porn. And no, I'm not joking when I say that. I'm often asked to draw characters inspired by iconic women. I'm sorry, honey, but this is not inspired by Wonder Woman, nor is it inspirational or iconic. Anyhow, recently, I was asked to create a piece inspired by Wonder Woman, in my own style, for an upcoming one-off artist collab. Again, I've seen this woman's Twitter. She can draw better. She can draw women that actually look quite pretty and beautiful, even if they are more common body types, right, and have stretch marks and all that. It's certainly not the ideal, but there's still a beauty to her images, even if you are concerned or a bit put off by the more risque nature of the subject matter at hand. Again, it's very fan servicey, it's very sexual, the type of stuff she does. But there is a beauty to it. She submitted, in my opinion, the lowest tier of her art, and DC published it. Says, I love drawing aliens with realistic body types, living their lives comfortable with themselves. There is comfortable and then there's simply slovenly. This is slovenly, in my opinion. This girl does not look like an alien. She looks like a woman. Her skin tone reminds me of somebody whose skin has gone purple because either they can't breathe and they lack air, or they're dying of like hypothermia, so they're freezing, right? It reminds me of that. But I definitely don't get alien from this. And I've been a fan of things like Mass Effect and Star Wars and Star Trek. I've seen aliens in media. This is not an alien. But anyway, and aliens with realistic body types. Honey, what you drew is a woman with an unhealthy body type. Okay? So long as the body belongs to a person, it's a realistic body type, right? The small form of a baby is a realistic body type. The Rock is a realistic body type. I am a realistic body type, right? Olympic athletes, right, are realistic body types, right? People who are 600 pounds are realistic body types. So long as a person uh, exists or has existed with a certain body type, it's a realistic body type, but it doesn't mean it's healthy. For example, a overly skinny, thin, anorexic body type, for example, is a realistic body type, certainly, because there are real people who suffer from anorexia, but it is by no means a healthy one. There is a difference between realistic and healthy, right? Overly fat is not healthy, overly muscular is not healthy, overly thin is not healthy. Okay? So, I drew an alien character, no, you did not. With a realistic body, you drew a fat woman, wearing a more everyday version of the Wonder Woman outfit. She's in mom jeans. Wonder Woman, a day in her life, has never worn mom jeans. I'm sorry, no. You have a quasi Wonder Woman top, which doesn't fit well. That's all. Right? And then it says DC decided they wanted to use this piece for a variant cover in addition to the collab. DC, one of the heads of your company is Jim frickin' Lee, a man noted for his comic artwork, noted for the artwork that he did with Marvel back in the 1990s. Why in the world did you find this acceptable? I didn't realize that featuring a Wonder Woman inspired, that this is not Wonder Woman inspired, stop saying that, with a realistic body type, this is unhealthy, not realistic, there is a difference, would be controversial. Apparently it is. It's controversial because Wonder Woman, right, whether it's Wonder Woman, whether it's Nubia, whether it's some representation of Wonder Woman, should not look like this. As I said in the other video, Wonder Woman, and I said earlier here, Wonder Woman is the peak of perfection. She is never supposed to look normal. Nothing representing her should ever look normal. The DC Nation posted their cover on Twitter, that's true, and it was immediately met with hundreds of comments hating on her body, as well as the non-traditional art style, and on me personally. Well, I don't know about people hating on her. I didn't see that. People hating on the Tumblr art style, yeah, I've seen plenty of that, and I can't exactly say that they're wrong. And the comments hating on her body, again, she's supposed to be representing Wonder Woman. Even if you claim she's an alien character, she's still an alien character who's on the cover of a Wonder Woman 1984 comic. For better or worse, she is Wonder Woman on this cover, and you made her look like a flabby American. No. I think one of the reasons I was asked to do this is that I'm not a traditional comic book artist, so I would present something from a different perspective. There are plenty of people who are not traditional comic book artists who have done comic book covers. It is not a matter of a different perspective or a different art style. This simply was not good. A perfect example is Anna, that Star Wars girl. She did a redo, which I did a video on, of the cover. It's amazing. It looks wonderful. And she herself is not a traditional comic book artist. In fact, she did a comic book cover recently, I think, for Dynamite's Vampirella. And one of the things she mentioned when she revealed the project is that she doesn't really do comic art. So this was all new for her. So this isn't a matter of, oh, it's a different art style. It's a matter of this was simply not good art. This particular image that got published that you somehow thought was good enough to submit to a comic company, and the comic company, for whatever reason, thought was good enough to print, was simply not up to snuff. People know what Wonder Woman's supposed to look like, and it's not like that. The fact that this was so controversial just makes me want to continue to draw diverse body types and create more art that people can hopefully see themselves in. Look, I have no problem if she continues to do her own art. She has every right to do her own art in her own way. The problem is when you bring your own art and your own way to an established character and make them look absolutely nothing like themselves or any other well-known alternate take on them, such as Nubia, the Black Wonder Woman. This doesn't look like regular Wonder Woman. It doesn't look like Nubia. It doesn't look like any character who's ever worn the name Wonder Woman in DC Comics. Draw your Twitter pictures, your images, however you like. That's fine. But don't roll up into an established property and start making people look drastically different than how they've always looked. No, that's not cool. And as for seeing yourself, there will be some people who like to see themselves, and if you enjoy that, that's well and good. But for me, as I expressed in the first video I did about this, I was not happy at all to see all of my imperfections and all of the issues I have with my health that I have caused myself to be reflected at me in a poorly drawn cover. Strength and beauty can come in lots of awesome forms. I don't think one form negates the others. I responded to this line earlier. All I have to say is read or look at the ESPN body issue. There is an example of how years and years and years of work and diet and dedication to a sport and different types of sports can mold the human body in different ways. Right? A basketball player, a tennis player, and a football player are going to have different builds and shapes and sizes to their body. You want true body diversity? Look at ESPN's body issue. And then it ends with, these are my thoughts. Well, these are my thoughts. And my thoughts obviously come into contact with your thoughts, Miss Eisenberg. But regardless, thank you for sharing them. But I will give Miss Eisenberg this much. From what I've seen of her on Twitter thus far, she's actually taken the criticism quite well. I have to give her that much. However, I may despise this image. I have to give credit where credit is due. She has been dealing with this controversy very, very, very well. She's been, from at least so far, as of the recording of this video, very respectful toward critics and detractors. If she wasn't, there would have been YouTube videos about it by this point. So thank you, Robin, for at least taking critique well. Thank you. That's actually quite a lost art. So thank you for being one of the few still practicing it. Right, now I want to finish with this, right? This is an image from Diversity in Comics, Jawbreaker's Lost Souls comic, right? From 2018, I think it is. Now, this is a bit of a personal story. I've said in other videos that I had 2 copies of the book and I lost it. That's true. I was able to read some of the book and I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. If I had to give it a letter ranking, I would have given it a B+ overall, art, story, and everything else. Maybe I can find a copy of it again somewhere, maybe online or something. And maybe I'll do a review. I don't know, but the reason why I'm showing this is because I want to explain why I ultimately put $25 down on a comic book from an unknown, unproven creator at that time, funding an Indiegogo campaign. While this cover did intrigue me and reminded me of like all the 1990s team-based cartoons like X-Men that I had watched growing up, and I was interested in the very G.I. Joe meets superhero team-esque, I guess you could say, description or story that was being crafted at the time. While that interested me, that is actually not what sold me on the book. I'm going to show you what sold me on the book, what convinced me to put $25 down for initially 1 copy. He sent me another copy later when I told him that I lost the original one, so I had to pay for only 1. Thank you, Zach. This image, this pinup image, is the reason why I decided to put $25 down and buy that book. Because Zashi, who's named after the actual artist, there's my New York coming out, artist. The actual artist who drew her is also named Zashi, and is female and from South Africa apparently. So anybody crying foul about gender, women don't draw like this. Yes, we do. But this image is the reason why, because Zashi looks beautiful. The background is beautiful, the lighting, the colors. And again, not the most dynamic pose in the world, but there's a certain strength to it. There's her expression. She has this beautiful, strong, toned body, right? And while I will admit the image is definitely probably made for men and probably lesbians in mind more than a straight woman, still this is a beautiful, beautiful image of a beautiful character, and that's the point. It's an expression of beauty. I will admit, a bit too revealing and too fan servicey for my taste, personally, but still, it's a beautiful image of a beautiful woman, and you need that. You need displays of beauty in media. If you want people to pick up comic books, right? Comic books, first and foremost, are a visual medium. Even people like me, who are more interested in the story, we still do care about the art. Just because the art is secondary doesn't mean that we don't care about the art at all. The art should be eye catching and just beautiful in a certain way. Whether it's beautiful in the sense that it's sexy and sensual, or whether it's beautiful in the sense of like it's cool and it's dynamic, and it's action packed. There still needs to be some sort of beauty in it, something that is visually attractive, visually appealing. Doesn't have to be this. This is one way, but it doesn't have to be this. But it needs to be beautiful. In one way or another, it has to be beautiful. This is not beautiful. I'm sorry, it's not. This is beautiful. This is not. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good night. I'm going to bed. Bye.